today we're going to set up Visual Studio Code from the base default settings to something a bit more personalized to make coding a little bit more enjoyable and a bit easier, perhaps. First thing to do is to open up the settings. We're going to do Command-Shift-P, Control-Shift-P if you're on Windows, and type in settings. There'll be a few preferences options coming up. Top one hopefully will be the one with a UI in it. That's the one you want to open because it has an actual interface for you to use. When you click on it, it should look a little bit like this. Yours might be a little bit different depending on your colors and stuff, but it should be pretty much the same. First thing to turn off will be the minimap. Minimap's that thing on the right hand side. It can take up a lot of space and it's not super useful when you're not dealing with massive chunks of code. So that's this one here. Make sure that's ticked, unticked, disabled. Next one's breadcrumbs. Breadcrumbs are the list of slashes along the top of all of the different files that you've gone through to get to the one that you're at. Again, not very useful if you're not dealing with a big project. So we're going to untick that one and it'll give us a bit more space for coding. Next one is word wrap. I like to have this on. You can choose however you want to have it. I like to have it on because if the text goes off the end of the screen, I like to have it just automatically show up underneath rather than having to scroll sideways. So I keep that switched on and it makes it a lot easier to read long lines without having to scroll. Next one is a funny one called tree indent. This is the one of how far in the items are pushed when they're like a bullet point kind of thing. So here you can see appearance is pushed in underneath workbench. I like to crank this number up to about 16 so that it becomes really, really obvious what's inside what. Next one, we're going to go with sort order. We've got a few different ones here, so we're going to explore sort order. Explorer sort order. This one here, Explorer sort order. On the left hand side is going to change how things are ordered, and we want to change it to files first. This is not going to be a big change for a lot of people, but if you're using Svelte, it makes it a lot easier to see what's going on. Next one, compact folders. Compact folders, there we go. Up here in the tab, it'll tell you the file name that you're working on and the folder. We want to have, compact folders. It's actually this one over here on the left. This one, VS Code will combine. If there's only one file in the folder, it'll combine. It'll look confusing. But we untick this one so it's really, really obvious which ones are files, which ones are folders, and how everything works. Label format is our next one. Label format, this is the tab one at the top. So we'll change this to short and you'll be able to see exactly which file and folder you're working on just by glancing at the tab at the top. The next one's not so much a setting as it is an extension. The VS Code, you can add on stuff to make it more personalized or add additional features. We're going to add one called Prettier. This one called Prettier code format. It should have the same icon here. This one is for formatting your code to make it prettier. Click on install and give it a moment to install. Once that's done, we can come back to our settings and search for semi. And semi is whether to add semicolons to the end of every line. We're not looking for our code to look any more complicated than it needs to be. You don't actually need semicolons at the end of the line. If you untick that, Prettier is not going to add them onto the end for you. Next one's print width. Yeah, print width. Prettier, if you don't change this, if your line gets extra long, Prettier will put stuff on new lines for you. I personally don't like it adding extra stuff to my code without me saying so. So I changed this to 1000 so that if the line is really long, it's just going to stay as one line. In VS Code, because of what we did with the word wrap, it'll still show on screen in one go. But this way, we won't have Prettier adding any extra lines where we don't need them. Next one is format on save. This one's super important. It means that as soon as you hit Command S or File Save or Control S, Prettier will format the code for you and make it correct. It won't fix bugs and stuff like that, but it will put it into the right format so that you're looking at those merit requirements if you're thinking about assessments. But in general, it's a good idea to have your code in a format that's readable for everybody else, so that everyone's on the same page. Next one is a couple of extensions. We've got material icon theme. There's this one. You can install that and it'll change your icons, make them look real cool. It'll just customize it so that it's more obvious what's going on. And the general material theme itself is this one, this funky thing. And when you install this, it allows you to change the whole look of VS Code. So spend some time with this one. You can click this button, set color theme, and choose any of the themes that you're interested in. So if you like to work at night, a dark theme is pretty good. Ocean's kind of nice. It's got a real deep black. Pale night is a bit more purple. You got a light color. Whatever your personalized you want to do. If you don't like any of those themes, you can search for theme and you can get lots and lots of themes. You can also do a Google search for like best VS Code themes and stuff and find the one that you think is the best for you. You can find some really interesting ones and it's all about your personal preference and what you like. That'll be up. So setting it up, I'll leave you to explore the themes and have fun coding.